Welcome to the Four Corners series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 15th of March 1917. The game's on pause for a reason which I'll explain later on. Now, I want to start this video with a bit of a historical backdrop to the significance of the 15th of March 1917. So if you want to jump forward into the gameplay, a timestamp will appear now. If you decided to stay, welcome. So what is the significance of the 15th of March 1917? Well, this is the date when Tsar Nicholas II abdicates, and effectively Russia starts this slide towards the Civil War. Before I talk about the abdication itself, I think it's important to give a little bit of background of how the events led up to his abdication, and also spread it a little bit wider to put the unrest in Russia into context with what was going on in Britain and Germany at the time as well. Now, what actually happens is when 1917 starts, the food shortages are getting worse in the cities, and there's an increasing dissent amongst the population, and this leads to what is known as the February Revolution in Petrograd, where vast numbers of people go on strike. There's mass demonstrations, and Nicholas actually instructs the army to disperse and shoot on the crowd. This is something that happened in the 1905 revolution, which was put down even with the use of artillery. However, what happens in the February Revolution is the army refuses to fire on the crowd because one, that they're relatively inexperienced troops, and two, that the dissent is actually now spread to the army, so it becomes very apparent that to the Tsar that he's not just losing the people, he's also losing his army, which means his authority is rapidly disappearing. I think it's important to emphasize that this revolution comes from the major cities. Generally out in the rural area, like where this gameplay is, people didn't really care. The Tsar and all the politics was a long way away. People were more interested in just staying alive. Now, to put what was happening in Russia into context, in Great Britain, there was also increasing numbers of strikes and protests about the war, because what was setting in now, bearing in mind the war's been going on now for several years, is war fatigue. And people are getting a bit fed up with all the austerity, shortages, and more importantly, being told to work harder to support the war effort. But what was happening in Britain was that people were seeing that the munitions factory owners were making lots of money, but that wasn't trickling down. And so there was an increasing growing tension in Britain, and it was the same in Germany. Germany between 1916 1917 winter had a very bad harvest. The British naval blockade was having an effect, so there was also increasing dissent rising in Germany over food shortages as well. Therefore, it's quite important to emphasize that what was happening in Russia was not unique. There's also another thing that was happening mainly down around the Balkans and places like that, was this vast increase in nationalism. So there was this overall tension growing in Europe, and it was this tension that would lead to some of the massive social changes that appeared after World War I was finished. And so this all builds up to the 15th of March when the Tsar Nicholas II actually abdicates. Now, there are a couple of kind of misconceptions around this event, and I just want to list a few of them. One is that the Tsar doesn't abdicate and the Bolsheviks take over. What actually happens is the Tsar abdicates in favor of his younger brother, which is Grand Duke Michael Alexandrovich. And there's this slightly strange story that no one actually told his younger brother that he was being given the throne. His younger brother, who was asleep at the time, wakes up to find that he was now effectively the Tsar-elect. But as he actually writes in a personal letter that he neither wants to abdicate nor does he want the throne. So what he actually says to the Duma is, I will accept this if you are prepared to accept me, which is kind of a bit of an odd way. It's almost like he's saying, well, I don't really want to be the Tsar, but if you insist, I'll do the job. But unfortunately for him, it's on the 5th of April 1917, he's actually arrested by various factions. I can't remember offhand who they were, and he spends the rest of his life in house detention and then finally imprisoned, and he's actually murdered on the 12th of June 1918. So you've got this poor guy returns from France to fight in the war alongside it for his brother, ends up in the middle of this political row, and actually costs him his life. Now, another misconception around Nicholas's abdication is actually that it was caused by Lenin. In fact, Lenin at this time was still in Switzerland. He doesn't actually get to Petrograd until April 1917. So I think there was probably a little bit of rewriting of history to kind of give him a bit of a stronger role in this process. But he wasn't actually present in Petrograd when the February Revolution took part. That was more a spontaneous revolution. I think it's also important to recognise that at this point, the Bolsheviks are just one party of a whole group of people who are dissatisfied with the way Russia was ruled, and some of these weren't just socialists. Some of these were on the what you could call the right-hand side of politics as well. Just to wind this section up, I just want to emphasise the situation now that the Tsar has abdicated. The Tsar-elect effectively hasn't taken office. The Duma is in disarray because they've got lots of different parties arguing over what they want and what they don't want, and they get a bit more very bogged down in the what you could call the minutiae of how they were going to run elections and form the Duma rather than getting on with running the country. And of course, this is all done against the backdrop of the fact that Russia is still technically at war with Germany. So it starts to become a bit of a mess as things go forward. And I think that's where I'm going to stop, and we're just going to get down to the gameplay now. Now, the reason the game is on pause, if you watch the previous video, you'll be aware that I tried to populate Titusville here, and it didn't go well, is probably the polite way of saying it. What actually happened is I got into the winter, the cold got in, and what actually started to kill the population off, if I show you the population now, population is 578, was sickness, mainly because of the cold, because these buildings weren't heated. So what I did in the end is I pulled all the population back to New Hope. So what we're going to try and do in this part is repopulate Titusville and hopefully make it permanent, because we've got the heating plant now finished. So we need to get enough people into here so that this can do. And the other thing you also see is that what I've done is a little bit of planning to get the buildings going. I'm just going to let the actual game run forward now. So what we're going to do is I want to pull about 100 people out of here, which is going to be a little bit shaky. So we're going to have to try and be careful. And what I want to do is, rather than pull large numbers of people out of individual apartments, we're going to just take a few people out of each and see if we can spread the load. We're going to put, that's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. So that gets 110 people in here, and hopefully everyone's going to get down and get happy. And of course, by moving 100 people here, that's effectively reduced the workforce down here by 20%. So what I would like to do is exactly what I did last time. We're going to bring in some other people into here. What we're going to say is that these are refugees fleeing the turmoil in the cities. I mean, it's going to cost me some money, but I think we'll be okay. And what will happen is these refugees will settle down. It should build the population up, and hopefully everyone here is going to be quite happy. And looks like we've got a few people working here, but I don't think we've got some crops here, so we're producing a little bit of food, but I'm not sure. Actually, food should flow back into that area there, but we've got to keep an eye on the logs. And I'm hoping that the happiness will improve here. We should be able to get some culture going as well. So we're just going to let this run, and I might reduce that down a little bit because we are in the spring. And what I'm hoping is that even though we're in March, we should be able to avoid the effects of heat, cold. So at the moment, I'm just happy to let this population burble along, minding their own business at the moment. I've tried to put some roads in here. The other thing I've also done is I've actually accepted the fact that I'm going to put one of the more powerful wind turbines in the center here to try and give us a bit more power. Over here, things are going reasonably well. But you can see one of the problems I've got here is logs, but we're going to be fixing that in a little while. And while we're letting things just tick over, I'd like to say a big thank you for your comments and feedback. As usual, you guys give me a lot to think about. Now, I did get someone ask about exporting the wagons here. One of the problems when you export vehicles, you've got to transport them to the border. They won't go to the border by themselves, as you can see here. I mean, I can sell them directly here. So like I could just sell that ambulance for 766. But if I try and put one of these onto here, what you'll find is there's not enough space for on the flatbed to load these vehicles. That's simply down to the fact that if you come over here, you will see, if you click on here, if I what's that? Oh, sorry. Click here and we go to the available wagons and click on here. You see that these wagons don't have any carry capacity for loading. Therefore, at the moment, the only way you can sell the wagons themselves is by direct sales. And I didn't really want to do that. What we got here? I'm just trying to see what we got here. We're working on the wood cutting post. I want to keep these guys busy. In fact, I wouldn't mind another house actually. I think I will. We're just going to assign a, because I need to push this population up over 200. At the moment it's only 120, which is not really enough. And this is one of the problems. I don't have a big enough population down here to keep everything going. But at the same time, we need to get the population over here to keep things building up. I want to make sure, this distributor office should be bringing in the logs. And I'm pretty sure that these guys will, we need to add you here as well. You can unload 90% crops. We need to make sure that, whoops. We need to make sure that the crops are unloaded into there at the moment. Of course, electricity problems. Where have we got electricity problems? Yeah. Yeah, I think this is because the wind is fluctuating. Yeah, the wind's only 4 miles per second at the moment, which is a bit of a problem. We've got the Carpenter Shed here. Titusville Groundworks. So these guys are being built. What I'm trying to do is focus on getting this up and running first, because that will guarantee the heating in the next winter cycle. And it will also allow me to set up some logs here. What I wouldn't mind is a distribution office actually, so that we can bring the logs down to here rather than using the distribution office that's over there. In fact, I think I will do that. Just put in the distribution office here. What I want to do is try and specialize some of these offices now, so that we can, I think if we can get you in there. Oh no, free excavator. I'm really starting. Well, we can stick him in there. And what I have to do is assign you, put you on Titusville Groundworks, right through bulk supply. And then we can use this distribution office to send the logs down to here. And of course, while we're building this, we may need to send the logs round to here as well. So that's something we need to deal with. Have a look here. Now I'm just going to slow the game down because we're now approaching the 6th of April. And I want to look at a few other things before we get to the 6th of April. Actually, no, it's just going to speed it up. I'm just going to try and get to it as quickly as possible. I think overall everything else here is okay. We've got our mayor's office here, but of course you can see we don't really have enough people in here at the moment to be able to get information from it. But I'm hoping that we will get some information from here. I want to check what everyone is working on at the moment. Wood cutting post. I don't think you need. I'm not sure if you need. You don't. You just need gravel and boards. Got here. I think we'll just put you on there as well. I have to admit, it's trying to keep track of everything that's going on here. I'm going to add steel We're going to put everyone on there. I think with the number of wagons I've got rolling backwards and forwards and all that, it's a bit of a pain in the neck. Actually, we got Titus Steel here. How are you doing? You guys, the happiness is rising now. What we need to do is get to a position where we can keep improving that overall. As long as there's shoppers and everything going and the basics are all being provided for and everyone's happy, I'm going to be happy. That's probably the way to think of it. We can start to take the overflow from here. We're kind of building up here. I think what I might do is just sneak another 10 over here. One advantage is that what will happen is, as you can see here, is the locals, if there's some spare capacity here, they will contribute to what's going on. Economically, I think we're making a small but steady profit at the moment. And just to show you, at the moment we're getting exports. We're exporting food, alcohol. I'm exporting some crops at the moment because we've got a little bit of a surplus over here. Well, that's nearly out, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on this. But you're out. Wow. Okay. Oh, we still got some crops here. 137. So we're generally. What have we got? We got this road here, and these guys are. Why do they insist on going down here? Okay. Take you out. I wouldn't mind kind of filling in this road here as well. I just feel that I need to get stronger connections to the border. In fact, let's just take you out there and just redo this road here. Like that. And we're just assign you this road here so you can do a little bit of local work. And we're get these guys. Thank you, game. Oh, I've gone past the date. Apologies for that. Let me just pause the game and just do this assignment. Oh, I think you might have detected this as well. Yeah. What was the significance of the 6th of April? Well, the 6th of April is the day when the US joins the World War I. And there's basically two reasons why the US joined the war. The first one is due to the German policy of unrestricted U-boat warfare, which means that various American ships have been sunk, which is, needless to say, has upset them considerably. Also, I'm not going to go through the dates, but there is what Germany does is that they give money to Mexico to trigger a what you call a new front, where Mexico effectively declares on America to try and recover what they see as traditional Mexican Spanish territories like Texas. And so this opens up another front, which is normally not even mentioned in the history of World War I, because it's seen more as a American-Mexican war, not part of the World War I, but it's all part of the tensions. Because somebody actually left a comment saying that in the first part of the 1900s, I think right up until about the late 1920s, the US provided a lot of technical support and exported lots of goods, including complete factories, to Russia. But of course, one of the restrictions of this early start is that we didn't really have the mods to be able to represent that, and I didn't really want to use modern buildings. More importantly, we didn't actually have the vehicles in context. But what I didn't mention deliberately in the last part was that if I come into here and we actually look at this vehicle here, what you will see is we've now got access to a whole pile of American-made vehicles. They're all Mack trucks. This is quite a neat little mod. Now, I've deliberately waited for America to come into the war because I think it fits it into context. And this is one of the reasons why I've also got $500,000, because we're actually going to buy a couple of vehicles now. So a long time ago, somebody actually posted a comment saying that there was a potential problem with trucks and the fact that because we're using the horse feeders, the trucks actually go there. And what I want to do is actually test that first. The other thing also is that I don't want to go all out on covered holes and all that, because I can't see the benefit, because they can't get past all these blooming wagons. So what I'm going to do is rather than buy general vehicles, I'm going to buy specialized vehicles like this Mack truck logging truck. So we're going to buy one of those just for a test, just to kind of talk through the process. And what we're going to do is come here and see if we can find one of these that isn't loaded up with you've got 3 tons on. You're empty, so what we're going to do is sell you for 770, and then we're going to pick you up and we're going to assign you to the wood cutting shed. And what we're going to do is just have a nice quick look at this little truck running through here. Whoops, we're in the trees. Hopefully we'll get round the trees. And another reason why I want to bring some of these trucks in, because they're quite cool looking actually, even though they don't have a driver. So I want to use some of these trucks, and of course this is an example of one of the reasons why I don't want. You can see you can overtake, but quite often they get stuck behind here, and of course we got stuck behind all this lot now, and because of all these guys, we're gonna have to wait here a little bit. So he's going to go into here. Now what I'm hoping is, as you can see, he's got very little fuel, so what he should do is kind of go in, turn around, go back out again, and what we're going to do is come here, and if you look on the right hand side now, you see he's actually refueled with crops, not fuel. So in some ways there's a little bit of a exploit here if you want to use trucks. The way I'm looking at it in the moment is that what they're effectively doing is burning pure alcohol, and this is another reason why I don't really want to start replacing all these wagons with general purpose trucks. But what I do want to do is actually get a bit of a benefit from the sense that what I would like to do is get at least one good fire truck in my fire stations, because I think that's going to be important. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy 3 fire trucks. I think we can buy fire trucks. Oops, nope. We're going to go here. We'll buy 3 fire trucks, and what I do like is these ones here, because these are go at 50 kilometers an hour, and they got level 12. So we're going to buy 3 of those, and they actually look quite cool actually. Again, they don't have a driver, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's the way it is. What we're going to do is we're going to replace the fire truck here with this one. So we're going to sell you, and then we're going to send you into there. I'm not going to replace all the trucks. I just want to replace one of them. So we're just going to sell you, because I don't want to blow all the $500,000 on trucks, because there's something else I want to do as well. So we're just going to replace you there. And of course, more importantly, out here, in fact, I'm kind of a bit tempted to have 2 fire trucks out here. I think I will. We're gonna sell you. Sell you. And I'll say, well, what we're going to do is have 2 fire trucks out here, because this is going to need to cover a larger area. So we're just going to buy. Oops, don't want that. Of course, we've got no income in dollars, so we can't just splurge on trucks here. So what we're going to do is come out here, and we're going to put you in there. Right, we've now got a wood cutting post out here, and I just want to come back over here because I haven't really tested this guy with respect to. What I want to do is just see. Yeah, where are you? He's picked up 13 tons of logs, so he's going to bring in a lot more logs than the other one. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to buy a. Oops, keep habit. Apologies, guys. What I'm going to do is buy one. Should I buy 3, 2 or 3? I think we'll buy 3. And I think up here we've only got the one wagon, and he's probably loaded. Sorry, we're gonna have to sell you. And what I want to do is put you into here. That's it. And then what we're going to do is put these two over here. Yeah. And then I've got an open hole, an ordinary kind of open hole truck here, which can act as a backup here as well. Not sure. We're just going to reduce the number of workers down here. That's mainly what I wanted. I mean, because I just don't want the trucks running around the roads. When I did consider ambulances, just have a look at what other vehicles is available. We've got an ambulance, we've got a concrete mixer. I mean, the concrete mixer would be nice. Dry bulk. Could bend the rules with respect to dry bulk. The trouble is that this dry bulk truck would just keep running backwards and forwards. Fire truck, oil tanker. We're going to need that. Oh, the one thing I do want to do is we're going to do a little bit of lend-lease here now. And I'm going to come here. Oh, it's not there. Here. And we're going to come to buy blueprint in dollars. And I think the only one we've got for sewing is the Fordson Model F. But what we're going to do is buy the template for that. And what I'd like to do is... where is it? Sewing. We're going to start replacing our horses with these things. I think I didn't actually check the stats on them. Let me just see. I was just so kind of tied up with the fact that they're tractors. Let's have a look. So you're 10 kilometers an hour. That's the same speed as the horses, and you've actually got a speed level of 10. Horses, yeah, so it's a marginal benefit, but I think it'll be okay. So that gets that working. What we should do now is get out here. I mean, what we're probably going to need out here is a capability. What we're not getting is any workforce here. I'm not sure at the moment. Yeah, we're out of range. Right, we're going to need to get this built. So it's a bit of a fail here. I'm sure we can fix that. Road crew, concrete, workers, steel, bulk supply. Put everybody on it. And we're going to have to start using a bus service to bring the workers out here. I really honestly felt that I could get... Actually, if I put a footpath out through here, and maybe to about there, and we'll just get the road crew on this. We might still be able to do it. If we can build here, we still might get a connection to there. So how are we doing here? Happiness is good. Overall population is starting to get a little momentum. We've got 659. Problem is the population growth is just so painful. How are we doing here? These guys, what? So this is being built. We get this built, we're going to need it anyway for out here. Over here, things are going okay. We haven't really worked on that yet. That can wait because that goes to the oil well. What I would like to do is get at least some fuel production going. And then what I'd probably do then is once we get the fuel production going here, well, I'm going to start replacing these horse feeders with actual fuel depots. What I'm considering is a gas station. Is rather than go for great big gas stations like this, what we will probably do is use these small farm refueling type stations, which is a bit in keeping in the time most vehicles were often refueled from actual gas tanks or cans, actually, not tanks, what am I saying? And of course we made a bit of money because I sold those vehicles. Let's see if these guys are... You're not really still picking up that much in the way of logs. Was that the fact that you're still kind of replenishing this after the winter? Kind of wondering, where is the guy here? Where are you? Let's see, is he actually picking up anything? Yeah, where are you? So he's kind of coming back here, dropping off his 15 tons of logs. I suppose, yeah, and as soon as he drops them off, they're all being consumed, aren't they? Kind of reluctant to buy another wood truck, but at the same time, I think considering the size of this town, I think I am gonna buy another one. I was just going to... Oops, no. We're going to buy another one, and then that's where I'm definitely going to stop. Metal trucks. So we got our first trucks. Let's find the horse open. Got 2.4 tons of logs on there. I'm going to sell you. And then we'll put our second free hauler on here. You can come out to here. See if this guy is performing very well. Looks like this guy's doing the business. Where are you? Yeah, he's just going to sit here because we got more logs here than we know what to do with. Maybe I shouldn't have replaced him with... Now, of course, what the other thing I was working on in the last part was this new area here where we're going to be producing bricks, which is something else that we need to do. Because what I really would like to do is work hard towards becoming almost completely self-sufficient by the time that the Civil War really gets going. But that might prove a little bit tricky. Over here, like we've got this footpath here. There's no rear connections here either, is there? A bit of a fail. Didn't notice that, so these are going to be a little bit tricky to build because, yeah, that might account for why that they couldn't get here. But we're going to need to put workers on this because these are very short bits of footpath. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not too worried about the winter just at the moment because I think we've still got plenty of time to get this together. So if we can get those filled in as well. I mean, we got some slack here with population, so if we get one more house built, I think that will help. But at the same time, I don't really want to drain too many people out of here. Of course, this would be the point now where I'd like to see some over 21s appearing, but it's going to take a little while for that to happen. I think what we need is... I think I'm just going to sell these ambulances. I know it's... shouldn't be doing it, but I've got no use for them and I don't really want to kind of store them anyway. So we can make our first tractors. Actually, I think I will... I'm going to move the... Where's my vehicle depot? I'm going to move a couple of these open holes down to here because I'm probably going to need them eventually. So shove you there. What have I got here? Don't tell me these are more ambulances. No, these are covered holes. So to store those, what we'll do is get some tractors going. And then hopefully we'll have a few tractors in these farms ready for the next winter. Because I don't think we get anything for harvesting. I didn't actually check. Let me just see. No. Got snow plows. Don't really feel snow plows fit with the current situation at the moment. I mean, if you get any opinions on the trucks, feel free to chuck them in the comments. I mean, if you feel that maybe I should be buying the templates and manufacturing my own trucks, but I don't think I can afford it. Let me just take a quick look. Yeah, I mean, these are very expensive. Let's have a look. So it's certainly 261, 400,000. Covered hull here, 261,000. So really, to start manufacturing the other types of trucks, we're going to have to get some form of dollar output, and that connection is a very long way away. So we're going to have to deal with what we've got and just try and conserve that little bit of money there. Titus has got I think we can get you on there. I think that would get you down into here. Keep going. Right, we've built that there. This is being built. Maybe we need to get the Titus onto here now. Actually, we need to start building these factory connections as well. Oh, how are we doing over here for jobs? I think that these factory connections are going to be quite important. Wow. Just top load them even more. Just build you here. Actually, we'll add the workers to it as well. The workers won't be recovered. Actually, we'll add the workers to 1, I think. Oops, I don't want you any here and just at the moment. Actually, if I could get a bus. Tractors or buses. I don't really want to have workers in the here just at the moment. I'd rather have my workers kind of working in this environment, keeping everybody happy at the moment. And up here, we'll see whether this makes a connection, especially when this is finished. This is finished now on the back of the old school block. I think maybe you need a rear entrance as well. Probably the only workers that could get up to there are come from this block. We might need to build this one. We'll assign you New Hope Road crew, bulk supply, and workers there. Actually, I'm tempted to get another 5-story apartment here. Road crew, bulk supply. You've got a crane there, so maybe you can just get down and do that. How's the power? Well, we've got no power overload there. Everything's on the green over here, so that's good. Obviously my bulk supply crew here are happy with the life and the situation as it is. Right, this guy's filling in this bit here. What we got here? The brick firing kiln. Again, we've got another wood cutting post up here. But I think this wood cutting post, I won't buy a truck for this, so I'll just use the normal wagons. It's a little bit out on its own and it's just producing bricks. Or will be producing bricks, is probably the correct term. What's the population coming? So we're up to 667. Generally, everybody is happy. I wouldn't mind finishing that road as well. Though I think this is going to be a winter job. Wow. Why am I exporting? Where's all these guys coming from? Obviously, they've got nothing to do to shift stuff the opposite way. So I'm kind of exporting a lot of logs. Does that mean... Obviously, these guys are having an effect. Wow. So yeah, they're having a real effect now. That's great. We got full 50 tons in there, got 20 tons in there, and basically we've got a massive production of what we call it here. That's good. That's partly what I was looking for. Probably I didn't really need that second truck here. So what I might do is, no, I think I'd rather have this one fully loaded to protect the heating here. New Hope concrete. Does anybody out here need concrete? You do. You need concrete there. Right, we've got a footpath nearly finished here. What I really, before I finish the video, I want to see this, because that's going to affect what we're doing up here. Got our first tractor. And I think the first tractor needs to go to here, so we're just going to cut off the draft horse. I'm not going to get much for it. Got 295, and we're just going to send our first tractor, our Fordson Model F, and go there. How are we doing for food? 96 crops there. 94 tons of crops there. Yeah, because I think what we're doing is we're still pulling the crops in from here, and I think we've got, so we don't have a problem with food as such at the moment, because we've got the bakehouse is full, got no wood. What's going on here? Wood distro. The bakehouse 90%. I think the problem is that the wood takes a little while to get down to here. I wouldn't mind. We've got meat, we're good. That should keep everybody happy. Okay, question, $6 million question is, yes, we can now get workers out to here walking. That's brilliant. That's exactly what I wanted. So our next target building is got to be here, and I think what we're going to do is, we've got that there. Kind of, I think I'd like to put a footpath across like that. I think if we put a footpath, say, up like that, and down to there like that. What it means is we might be able to connect these in eventually. So we're just going to get our New Hope Road crew bulk supply onto that one. That's long enough to, these are going to be long enough for these guys to do it, and we'll get Titusville Groundworks onto it as well. Actually, we'll put Titusville Groundworks onto there as well. And actually, we need to build this, don't we? Sorry, road crew. Actually, no. We don't need the road crew. We need bulk supply, Titusville Groundworks. We need steel. We need concrete. We can put you on there as well. And we're going to need the workers. If we can get this built, groundworks, concrete. What do you need? You need mechanisms. I think we've got Titusville here, and I think we'll put the road crew on as well. I've got a feeling I'm just going to need another construction office out here. And I think I need these guys to kind of catch up a little bit now. Let's have a quick look round. Right, I'm aware that time is pushing on, and we've kind of moved into a kind of waiting period now while we catch up with some of the outstanding jobs. So I think this is where, so I think just to wind the video up, we're just going to have another quick recap and look around and see what's going on. I think over here everything is pretty good. It's the population here is slowly filling out again, building back up again. I think it's going to be quite important to ensure that the population is here. We've got ourselves another little tractor. I think what I'm going to do is send one of them out here. We got a draft horse, so we're just going to sell you. Just send our Fordson Model F out here. Now so he's still producing the tractors. I think I'm just going to keep this going until we've replaced all the draft horses here. I think it's time that our little community got into the modern age with respect to sowing. It'd be really brilliant if we could get somewhere to harvest as well. And over here, I think we've pulled it off now because we've got some workers in here, which is going to keep the heating going. We've got the logs coming into here now, even though we don't have that many workers, but we're kind of starting to build up some perception here. So hopefully now Titusville will start to kind of come together and stay stable. But of course we're just going to have to try and keep them running their own survival at the moment. The money and everything else is going to have to come from this side. And one thing I haven't checked in this part is clothes, alcohol. What's the crop situation here? The crop situation here is good. We've got fabrics, we've got no shortages in that area. And I just want to kind of just show you, look, there's our little fire truck raring to go. I'm feeling a bit more comfortable now out the fire coverage. In fact, I'm kind of half tempted to possibly reactivate this. In fact, I think I will. Bulk supply, concrete and workers there. That's all you need, isn't it? Why is it saying it needs steel? Okay, we'll just convince them that they need steel. But this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. In the next part, we will just keep going forward, building up our community. And of course, we got a major event coming up, which will be in the next video as well, which will be the October Revolution, and that represents the start of the major conflict in Russia. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.